Sup, y'all? Welcome to Saved by the Code. Welcome back. I am back, and I know it's been quite a while. This past year has been an interesting ride, to say the least, but hopefully I'm back for good here, and I can keep making videos consistently. But enough of that. Let's just get right into it. So, how about this Bitcoin thing? Have you heard of it? Have you seen it? Do you know what it is? It's just crazy what has transpired over the past couple of weeks. Just saying that Bitcoin is at $97,673 is it just sounds absurd, and it is annoyingly close to $100,000, which it will inevitably cross. I think we got up to $99,645. Come on, Bitcoin. Come on, Grandpa Bitcoin. Let's go. Just do it. $100,000 is a massive psychological barrier, and getting past that is going to be. It's not going to be hard. I think it'll blast right through it, but that's a massive psychological barrier, and it's just how humans work. But once it crosses that $100,000 mark, it changes everything, because now we start thinking in terms of hundreds of thousands of dollars, even millions for Bitcoin. I'm of the viewpoint, call me crazy, but I don't think anything's too crazy at this point that Bitcoin is going to get very close to $1 million this cycle. With all the things that are going on, with a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about in this episode, I think it will become a lot more clear as to why $1 million Bitcoin is not that crazy. It really isn't. And I have no doubt in my mind that it will happen someday. I'm of the view that it will happen this cycle, 2025, 2026, at least close to it. Because, like I said, once we cross $100,000, 200,000 is not that crazy. 300,000 is not that crazy. It's just like it's the exact same thing as 10,000 to 20,000. It's the same distance. 100,000 to 200,000, 200,000 to 400,000. 20,000 to 30,000. And overcoming that, I remember when Bitcoin was getting close to 10,000, it was like, oh my, like mind blowing. It was crazy. Bitcoin is 5 digits now? What? And that was just like, holy crap. And then, 20, could you imagine if Bitcoin hit $30,000? What that would be like? What the world would be like? Oh man. Never thought it was impossible. I've always had I've had as much conviction for Bitcoin now than I did when I was in 2016. It's not hindsight 2020, it's foresight 2020 for me at least. But yeah, like I said, everything just changes when it hits 100, crosses over, and blasts past it. I mean, even where we're sitting now, an $80,000 Bitcoin is like, ugh, ooh, who wants that crap? Or $85,000 Bitcoin, ooh, already a $70,000 Bitcoin is like nauseating now. uh, and that's how quickly this happens. And I think people are just gonna be. Things are so much different with Bitcoin now, and how established it is, how massively decentralized the network is. The hash rate has just been steadily going up for the past 10 years, and it's at an all-time high almost right now. Again, the hash rate is how much computing power is behind the network, and is also indicative of how secure the network is. So the higher the hash rate, the more secure the network is. And it's almost at an all-time high. So mining is going crazy. Miners are very happy right now, and it's like clockwork. And this is how it's supposed to be playing out. The halving happens. It's like clockwork. The halving happened in 2012. all-time high 2013, having in 2016, all-time high 2017, having 2020, all-time high 2021, having 2024. It's like Bitcoin is like playing out exactly as it was intended, because the block rewards, that's what the halving is, gets cut in half every 4 years, but the price increases significantly to account for that halving. And it's been happening like clockwork every single halving. Right now, the block reward is 3.25 Bitcoin, or 3.125, excuse me, Bitcoin. And it's like $300,000. It's the incentive for miners to set up the computers to mine the Bitcoin. That's how they make their money, as well as the transaction fees. They get a portion of those as well. So it's like the golden era for mining Bitcoin, because these rewards are going to run out someday in 110 years or so. The theory is that Bitcoin miners will be incentivized to still operate solely based off of transaction fees, because Bitcoin will be so ubiquitous that they will be able to sustain their mining operations solely on transaction fees. We'll see what happens, but right now it's really sweet because you get transaction fees and the block reward. But it will be interesting to see how this plays out. And but yeah, Bitcoin's sitting at 97,673 right now, so annoyingly close to 100,000. But like I said, that's a huge psychological barrier, and it will cross it eventually. Don't worry, we will get there. We just blasted through 80, 90, and now we'll get past 100. And then below $100,000 Bitcoin sounds cheap, and it will get bought up like instantly. The amount of things that are happening globally with Bitcoin is just insane. I mean, the new administration in the United States is so pro-crypto, and Bitcoin mainly. It's the only one with staying power. It's the only true decentralized cryptocurrency that is as established as it is, and it has as much of a record as it does. So these big companies and these nations aren't going to be buying Solana or Cardano or Ethereum, even maybe Ethereum, but Bitcoin's the only one. It's the most secure, it's the most decentralized, it's the most established and trusted. So it's the only one that they're going to buy, and nations are, and I mean, just going to get right into it. I mean, the first story I got here, Donald Trump could appoint crypto czar on first ever White House role. I have no doubts that he will. They will. They're going to create some kind of crypto thing, role or something, because it's a you have to, you're forced to. It's so massive now, and it's so integrated into society now that you have to create these roles. And if you don't, it's just silly. Like, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, like, if you're against crypto at this point. And it's wonderful. Gary Gensler's gone. See ya, buddy. No one cares. Well, actually, everyone loves that you're gone, but you've just, he's such a, I don't even, whatever. It's wonderful. Good riddance. Get out of here, Gary. No one likes you. It was just such a mess when he was in. They were just illegally bringing everyone to court and doing all this crap, and just disgusting. Get out of here. You're fired, Gary. You're fired. In the words of Donald Trump. I mean, the Trump effect is so real. He's not even like inaugurated yet, and Gary Gensler's gone. A bunch of other crazy stuff's going on. Like, it's a real thing. Like, what a boss. So that's huge. And he's going to be replaced by a more pro-crypto. There's going to be a much more pro-crypto SEC, a pro-crypto presidential administration. It's just going to be allowed to run free. And there's nothing, nothing's holding it back now. It can't be banned. It can't be stopped. The network is so massive now, it can't be taken over. All those things go out the window. There is nothing holding Bitcoin and crypto back now. And this is just one of the many reasons why And the whole Bitcoin stockpile thing, the reserve for the U.S., other countries are already doing this, and the amount of countries that are going to follow suit, the big companies, BlackRock, the micro strategies, the Teslas, just it's mind-boggling, and the price is going to be mind-boggling. Okay, and not even just companies and nations, big rich people and families, like family offices, which are just really wealthy families that just invest in things and don't have to do anything. They just buy stuff and let it sit for years. And these people are long-term investors, and they don't invest in things unless that's their lower risk. Because when you're putting in hundreds of millions of dollars into something, or even billions, they want to hold it for 5, 10 years. They're not just in and out. They're not just, oh, I'm going to buy Bitcoin and sell it in 6 months. Like, no. These people hold things for long periods of time, stocks, real estate. And that's how you do make the big bucks, is not jumping in and out. You buy and you hold for 10 years. That's the formula. If it's something that you really truly believe is going to make it, like Bitcoin, I just had this feeling, and not even feeling, just the whole ethos of it and the technology behind it and how desperately the world needs it. There's a number of reasons why. But if you bought Bitcoin in 2014 and held it for 10 years, you are sitting so pretty. Same with like Microsoft stock or Amazon stock or Apple stock. If you bought it and held it for 10 years, you are most likely heavily in profit. So it's just that perspective on investing is what these big dogs do. They put a lot of money in, but they hold for long periods of time, and they won't buy things like Bitcoin until it's well established, until it's like its market cap is $2, $3, $4, $5 trillion. They're not going to buy it below $1 trillion. Maybe some will, but these people won't start putting big amounts of money in until these things are well established and it's like a legitimate financial instrument, like it is now with the ETF happening, and now that there's a pro crypto administration. I mean, it's just, there's no stopping it. And now he wants to do a whole crypto czar thing. It's just crazy. Congress is filled with pro crypto people. Cynthia Lummis, she's a senator from Wisconsin or Wyoming, one of the W's. Yeah, Wyoming for sure. And she's proposing that the U.S. sell some of its gold to buy Bitcoin. It's just like, whoa, man. And, there's supposed to be 21 million Bitcoin ever created, but in reality, 4, 5, 6 million of that is gone forever because people die, forget their passwords, whatever. So there's really only like 14, 15 million Bitcoin out there. That is such a small number. It's crazy. So when it happens, it's going to happen, and I think this is going to melt people's brains with how ridiculously high the price goes. And this is the time. Like, this is when next year, 2025, 2026, I think we're just going to see this insane bull run if the world doesn't blow up first. That's an assumption we need to make, is that we'll still be here. But yeah, so yeah, just crazy. Trump wants to appoint a crypto czar. It's an election top issue now. Like, if you don't have Bitcoin on your agenda in a positive way, who are you? Go home. Like, in 2028, that's gonna be like a central issue. It's be like, what is your stance on crypto and Bitcoin? Like, and people will vote accordingly. It's just crazy that we're at this point. And I knew it would happen someday, but I knew it would. Here's another story. Trump picks pro-crypto hedge fund manager Scott Bessent for Treasury Secretary. Yeah, he's a big fan of digital assets. And that's just crazy. He's a cryptocurrency enthusiast. As for Treasury Secretary, I mean, they're just like everywhere now. Like, crypto is normalized. Bitcoin is, it's a part of your lives now. Bitcoin, what do you say? Here's a quote from him. I've been excited about Trump's embrace of crypto, and I think it fits very well with the Republican Party, the ethos of it. Crypto is about freedom, and the crypto economy is here to stay. He said in an interview with Fox Business, crypto is bringing in young people, people who have not participated in markets. Yeah. So they're just like some of his cabinet members, people in the Senate and in the House are like all pro crypto. And you don't hear any of this stuff from the other side. They don't even come close to saying anything like we're going to have a Bitcoin reserve. Like Trump was such a boss for going to the Bitcoin 2024 conference in wherever it was, Nashville, I believe, and just going up there and saying, yeah, the U.S. is going to acquire more Bitcoin and not sell any of the Bitcoin it currently has. Wouldn't be surprised if Biden tried to sell it all before they left. Ugh. Anyways, so yeah, I mean, the level of bullishness right now is like palpable beyond palpability. I can like taste it. It's really crazy what's going on right now with Bitcoin, and it's a beautiful thing. And the next year or two is just gonna be, I think, gonna melt people's brains and their faces if we're still here. Let's just hope for that. So yeah, Bitcoin is just taking over the world. Just continues to take over. It's just been doing it for the past however long it's been around, just steadily, just like infecting the world in a positive way. It's amazing to see. All right, let's keep it moving here. Other altcoins are blowing up too right now. Cardano's going crazy. XRP's going crazy. And a bunch of other coins are just going nuts right now. You know, XRP up 28% on the week. It's been like 150%. Cardano up 40% on the week. It's at $1.06 right now. Avalanche. Stellar's going crazy. Like, what is going on? Stellar's up 170% in the past week. I think there's something going on with some big company's going to use Stellar. Stellar isn't... It's just some random coins just blow up out of nowhere that have been nothing for like the past 5 years. I don't know. Polkadot up 37% today. I mean, stuff's going... All coins are going nuts right now. Cardano is one of them. I'm a big Cardano guy. Always have been. It's a slower mover, but they put out really quality stuff. You know, it's not like Ethereum or Solana where it's just like, put it out there and, you know, whatever. Like Solana's network goes down. Like, that's not a blockchain. But people obviously don't really care about decentralization because it's going crazy too. You just got to go where the money's going to go, and that is not a long-term hold for me whatsoever, Solana. You know, it just doesn't have, it's centralized. It's just a database. Like, it's nothing special. Yeah, so Cardano's been going crazy. There's talks that Charles Hoskinson may be involved with Trump's crypto stuff. Who knows what's true? There's just been a really big boost in sentiment surrounding Cardano. I really think we're going to see a lot of more activity on it. And it's just been asleep for the past 4 years or so, really doing nothing, just going down, down, down. But it's because like Solana and other blockchains have been stealing the spotlight. But I truly don't think that they have as high quality tech as Cardano does. Cardano is very heavily focused on decentralization and quality research. They're also like a peer-reviewed blockchain, so they like really take like a scientific approach to it and don't just pump out stuff and whatever, it breaks, people lose money, all this stuff. Sure, it still happens on Cardano, but it's just a much more scientific approach, kind of like a peer-reviewed thing. Like they have other people looking at what they're going to do before they implement the technology, and it's very scrutinized before it's actually implemented. So it's a slower approach, but the quality is higher. You don't see Cardano going down, and people would argue because there's not that much activity going on it. Yeah, you're right, but Solana goes that is not a blockchain. Blockchains are supposed to have 100% uptime. Solana crashes and you can't put transactions through. Like, that's just trash. But nonetheless, that is where a ton of the activity is, and you just got to go where the money is. You got to swallow your pride and just go for it. But a lot of stuff's happening on Cardano. There's some crazy talks that future elections may be held on Cardano, which is so crazy. Blockchain solves voter fraud. It's done. This talk of these paper ballots is so silly. I mean, paper ballots in 2024, are you serious? It's just such a joke. Like, we have technology. I don't know if anybody noticed, but we have technology. Did anybody see this? Like, I don't know if anybody noticed. Like, blockchain solves voter fraud. An immutable public ledger, which means it's unchangeable, it's decentralized, no one controls it, it's transparent, it would be instant. You sign in on your phone or whatever with your biometrics. Sure, fraud could still happen. Fraud can happen with anything, but it's much lower of a chance probability that it will happen. These paper ballots and crap, they're such easy. It's just too easy. You know? And so blockchain literally solves it. You know what I mean? So if we saw that, I mean, the price of Cardano would go so crazy, or whatever blockchain was chosen for to hold elections on, which is what it should happen. I mean, I really hope the Trump administration sees that, and I bet they will. I bet they will come around and be like, we need to run this on blockchain. Done, finished, voter fraud solved. It's that easy. You could vote from the comfort of your freaking home. You wouldn't have to go drive, fill in circles with a freaking pen or pencil, and put it in some stupid machine. Like, what a joke. What a joke. The mail-in ballot crap. Get out of here. It's just such a joke, but, you know, hopefully things change here soon. Like, you would know instantly, and there would be minimal fraud. At least it would be minimized. It could still happen. You know, I'm sure people would figure out a way to, like, put in fake votes, you know, get a bunch of phones or something, make a bunch of accounts and just whatever. But, I mean, it would minimize it significantly. So, yeah, Cardano's going crazy. Good to see. Love it. Sitting at $1.05 right now. I totally see it going to $10 this cycle. $5, $10. I think, I mean, all coins are going to go crazy. Everything's just, it's just nothing stopping them now. Nothing. It's beautiful. What a beautiful thing. All right, let's move on to the next one. On-chain data shows the Bitcoin price bull run is far from over. So a bunch of indicators basically are just saying that, yeah, we're not even like close to an all-time high here. And these indicators, say what you will about them, but they are pretty damn spot on. It's pretty crazy. If you like just looking at not just like one indicator, but multiple indicators, and using that as a gauge to see, okay, maybe the top's coming soon. Like, they are accurate. Technical analysis has some validity. There are some crazy things out there about it, but it's not 100% accurate, but it's damn close. Like, a lot of these like this one lines up almost, like when it dips heavily, it's like, okay, like this long-term holders supply metric, 1+ year HODL wave. There's still more Bitcoin held by longer-term holders now than at any other point in Bitcoin history prior to this cycle. So, I mean, like, you can clearly see it. All-time highs, indicators will tell you, like, okay, it's getting really hot, and you should maybe take some profits at least, or take some money off the table. This one's pretty insane how spot on it is. The whole euphoria greed thing, I mean, it is just human emotion. Like, charting human emotion will pretty much tell you where the price is going to go. Like, this one is like really the number one indicator, if you ask me, because it is almost every time it crosses over into the euphoria and greed, it's a top. It's really nuts, and it's only there for a very short period of time. So I'll personally be watching that very closely. I mean, look, if you would have sold there, you would have made like at all these peaks. If you're not looking at the screen, the net unrealized profit / loss chart is like the number one. It's crazy. The people, like, all these indicators are not even like close to where they have been at previous peaks. So the on-chain data is signaling that we aren't even close to a top yet, and I don't think we are either. It is just getting started, if you ask me. With this new incoming, things are different too. People say that's the most dangerous thing you can say in investing is that it's different this time. Whatever. It is different. We didn't have a pro-crypto president before. We didn't have a president that wanted an administration that wants to have a Bitcoin reserve. I mean, just that in and of itself, that's like as big as it gets. You have countries buying Bitcoin to put in their reserves, possibly selling gold to buy Bitcoin to store away. It's just, that's as big as it gets. And these hardcore Bitcoiners will say, like, we don't need them. We don't need President Trump. We don't need this and that. Yeah, we do. Okay. Sorry to tell you, bud, but we do. And it's just unavoidable. It's just kind of this delusional state of mind where you just think that, like, yeah, we can just like Bitcoin without having to deal with regulations, or the price will just go super high without countries having to buy it. Just, we wouldn't be at these levels if these things weren't happening. I like where their heads are at, but it's still kind of just like, it's delusional. Like, this stuff is unavoidable. I wish we could skirt all the regulations and all that, but you can't. And the fact that Bitcoin's done what it has done is mind-blowing in and of itself. So, but yeah, all the metrics are saying we aren't even close to an all-time high. Beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing. Yeah, Bitcoin nears $100,000 as Trump Council expected to implement a Bitcoin reserve. Yeah, Gary Gensler's gone. It's so beautiful. They should do a Bitcoin Act of 2024. Crypto Council is expected to establish a promised Bitcoin reserve. A Bitcoin reserve that would see the United States purchase 200,000 Bitcoin per year for 5 years until it has brought 1 million Bitcoin. Yeah, it's so crazy. Bitcoin, like, if they did that, and I have no doubts that they'll do something like this, is if we were to acquire this 200,000 Bitcoin per year, and we are just one country doing this. One! The prices are astronomical. I think $1 million Bitcoin is low. That's conservative. I mean, and that's just countries. You factor in companies, big conglomerates like BlackRock, Fidelity, the banks, the very rich, wealthy families around the world. I mean, and then just even like smaller investors that are buying, half a Bitcoin, quarter Bitcoin, 0.1 Bitcoin. They add up. There are so many of those people. Like, Cynthia Lemus, I love her. She is a bad bee. She just is such a Bitcoin bull, and she's the one that's like really behind this whole sell the gold, buy Bitcoin. We wouldn't even need to we have the money to buy it. You just need to offload some of this old gold. I'm a fan of gold. It's just outdated. It's antiquated. Like, it's a kind of a pain. Like, you have to like physically store it in these big buildings with these big walls and Meanwhile, with Bitcoin, you can store $1 billion on a little USB stick. You could store it in your head if you wanted. If you can remember your seed phrase, you can store it in your brain. It's just so crazy. Bitcoin is the coolest thing in the world. But go Trump. This Bitcoin reserve thing is going to become a reality, and other countries will follow suit. And I bet other countries are following suit. Because when you announce these things, it makes the price go up. So the smarter thing to do would have been to not say this. But I think Trump he doesn't care. He's such a boss. He's just like, yeah, Bitcoin reserve, let's go. Like, he's so funny. Oh man. All right, another story. The SEC is going to be pro-crypto now. That's crazy to even say as well. It was far from that. Like, even this earlier this year, just going after all these crypto companies, all this trash. They're such trash, just garbage cases that went nowhere. Ugh, this is a security, and they they base the definition of a security on something that was like created in like 1914 or something. They still base that off of a definition from like 1914. Does it meet the Howey test? Like all this stupid, outdated crap. Like, get out of here. Where is the common sense? Like, just such. It's so ridiculous. Like, we need new rules here. It is the future. We need, like, crypto security laws. Or just definitions. Maybe not laws, but just, like, definitions. But the headline for this is potential SEC chair pledges crypto forward approach after Gensler's resignation. I think whatever chair is put in place is going to be pro-crypto. Like, you have to be. You can't be anti-crypto now, or else you're just going to get destroyed. No one's going to like you. No one's going to want you. It's just, get out of here, you loser. A quote here from whoever this person is, some SEC person. Whoever steps into that job, there is a lot of work that needs to be done to address some of the regulatory excesses, not only at the SEC, but at other administrative agencies. Yeah, no crap. Oh, it's so beautiful. The shutting down of all these agencies that are going to happen in the government, the whole Department of Government Efficiency, Doge, like, they're so funny, too. Like, Doge. That's what they named it. And Elon Musk is heading it. And Vivek, like, that's just too funny. Trump is like the ultimate troll. Like, it's just hilarious. And that has obviously caused the price of Doge to soar, which I am kicking myself for not seeing that. I'm so... I can't believe I missed that. Just so... Right when they announced that, I should have been like, buy Doge. Like, what was I thinking? Another story here with regards to the SEC. Crypto scores crucial court win against SEC as Gensler calls it quits. Bye-bye, Gensler. See ya, buddy. You're a loser. Loser. Federal judge in Texas dealt decisive blow to SEC, ruling that the SEC agency's expansion of existing security laws to apply to DeFi users and projects was unlawful and in excess of the regulator's authority. Yeah, no crap. Wow. It's about damn time. Like, it's so great. This is all happening. It's just the swamp is being drained. And, you know, I think Trump's first term, he was a little soft. This time around, I don't think he's going to be a nice guy. He's just like, y'all are done. And it's great. I love it. And it's driving people up the wall, and it's so great. I mean, like, love or hate the guy, you can't deny that this pro-crypto approach is just... I mean, Bitcoin is freedom. Like, it really is. It is financial freedom. And sure, you are fully responsible. There are no, like, backstops for Bitcoin. If you lose your keys, you lose your Bitcoin. But with great freedom comes great financial responsibility. So, it's a trade-off you make. So yeah, SEC is just getting their butts kicked. Gensler's gone. He's fired. You're fired, Gary. You're fired. It's a beautiful thing. You didn't have to fire him. He's just like, yep, I'm done here. See ya. Oh God, it's so great to see. Just that guy is such a loser. Bye bye. I'm not gonna read that one. BlackRock's ETF is going crazy. Hits 513 million in daily inflows. Its Bitcoin ETF's net value reaches $107 billion. The numbers that are just mind blowing. I know I've said that probably 100 times in this episode, but it is, and it's really, and the ETFs are just another whole dimension on this thing. The amount of Bitcoin that's been being bought, and it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop. You see Larry Fink on all these major news networks. He is such a Bitcoin bull. People have these theories that, you can say whatever you want about him, and maybe it's true, but guy wants to make money, and when he recognizes an opportunity, he's going to jump on it. Why would he talk bad about a Bitcoin ETF? Why about Bitcoin when he has the biggest ETF out there? Just wild. The inflows of the ETFs, it's too bullish. It really is like too freaking bullish. All right, that was the news portion. Just so many things. I just had to pick and choose. There are just too many stories. But we got some more, just a few other interesting things here. The hash rate for Bitcoin is at near an all-time high again here. And it's at 671 exahashes per second. And this is a metric on how much computing power is behind Bitcoin, and thus how secure the network is. So the more hash power behind the Bitcoin network, the more secure it is, and the more difficult it is to attack it. And a hash is just guessing a number, and that's all miners are doing, is guessing numbers until a miner guesses the correct random number, and it mines the block and gets the Bitcoin reward and adds a block to the blockchain. So you need the computing power to be able to add blocks to the network, which means that you need to invest in the computing power, the electricity, the space to do it. So your incentive to be a good actor in the Bitcoin network is very high. The incentive to attack Bitcoin is just non-existent. Like, you'd spend all this money and you would take down the network, and then the very thing that you hold would go to zero. And you just spent all this money and you took down the Bitcoin, and it's just, the incentive to join the network and make the money and contribute to it far outweighs the incentive to try to take it down. And just put this in perspective, like I said, it's at 670 exahashes per second. An exahash is 1 quintillion. Not billion, not trillion, not quadrillion. A quintillion is 1 exahash. And the network is currently sitting at 670 exahashes per second. So 670 quintillion little numbers are being guessed every second to try to mine this block in Bitcoin. The computing power required for that is absurd. And it just goes to show you that the mining, the backbone of Bitcoin is just, if you just look at this chart, if you're not looking at the screen, it's just like straight up since like it's just been going up since it started. There was a big drop in 2021 because stupid China did their silly thing, but whatever. And now it's just been going straight up. It's so wild to see how it's the most powerful computing network on the planet, the most decentralized, obviously. And it'll just continue going up and up and up. And these miners are making buku bucks right now. Buku bucks. I think the price of Bitcoin needs to be at least $24,000 to be profitable, maybe $48,000. I don't know, but it's at almost $100,000. So, and they make money off of transaction fees. And the theory is that whenever the block reward runs out in 120 years, transaction fees are what are going to be the incentive to keep the Bitcoin miners going. Just solely transaction fees, and the theory is that Bitcoin will be so ubiquitous that they'll just be able to survive off of transaction fees. And I think that will play out. I really do think it will play out like that. And but right now is a real sweet time to be mining Bitcoin, baby. You get the block reward and the transaction fee. And I mean, when the price keeps going, when it's like $200,000, $300,000, these miners are going to be sitting on silly money. To mine a block, if you mine a block, you get $320,000. It's a pretty sweet payday, but a lot of these are mining pools, so they have to disperse these rewards to all the miners out there. So they pull together all their computing power, and whenever a block is mined, it's dispersed based on how much computing power you contribute to that pool. But I've seen stories of independent miners, like, guys in their basement just happening to mine a block out of nowhere after like 10 years of mining. So it may not even be worth it after all the electricity you spent. You nail a block for $320,000, you make like $10,000 because you spent $310,000 on electricity and mining hardware and whatnot. But yeah, mining is healthier than ever. Bitcoin is still Bitcoining, just going nuts right now. It's too bullish. I'm kind of freaked out, to be real. But not really. It's here to stay. Bitcoin's not going anywhere. It ain't going anywhere, folks. So, not financial advice. Nothing is financial advice on the show. But do your own research, and I advise you to. It's not too late. It's not too late. It never is too late. That always happens to people. When Bitcoin hit $10,000, it was too late. When Bitcoin hit 20, when it hit 30, when it hit 40, 50, 70, 80, it's always too late. Always. It's always too late. When are you going to say, enough's enough, I just need to buy some freaking Bitcoin, All right. That's it for that. We got to end the episode with some good old Babylon Bee laughter. Oh, man. All these celebs leaving the country for good. It's just, Ellen DeGeneres is gone. She's moving out for good. Good. Leave. We don't want you. There's such snobs. Like, I'm leaving forever. Bye, America. You'll regret this. Like, oh, it's beautiful. Please leave. There's all this crazy crap going on, like these girls like shaving their heads and pledging not to have sex for 4 years. I'll show them. Like, thank God. Ugh. Who wants to get with you anyways, you nauseating snob? It is so wonderful. He's not even in office yet, and all this stuff's happening. Where was another really funny one? But yeah, the Babylon Bee is hilarious. America is toast. Here are 9 more A-list celebs who are leaving for good. Bye-bye. Thank you. We don't want you. We don't care. I hope more leave. Tom Homan introduces family-sized immigrant trebuchet to speed up deportation process. They are just ruthless. Oh, gosh. That is too funny. All right. I think that does it for the episode today. It is good to be back. I really hope I stick with it this time. Just keep trying, I'm going to keep on doing that. And, yeah, Bitcoin is just unbelievable to see where it is today. I knew it would happen. Took a long time, but we got a long way to go, folks. This is just the start. I mean, and I was also looking at some other metrics, kind of off topic. I got to wrap it up here, but the Bitcoin rich list, it's this really cool thing to look at if you got some spare time. Bitcoin rich list. It's just fun to look at some metrics of Bitcoin, and it shows like the richest addresses, and some metrics here. Addresses that hold more than 1 Bitcoin, only 846,000. Addresses that hold more than 10 Bitcoin, 134,000. That's 0.25%, or 0.28% of all Bitcoin addresses hold more than 10 Bitcoin. I mean, and there's addresses with more than $1, 48 million. There's no one in it still. No one. I mean, it is wild. And there's all these dormant addresses that haven't moved. Like this, I found this. There's like 20 addresses with exactly 10,000 Bitcoin, and they haven't moved their coins since 2011. Like, none of them have left. They've just been sitting there for $974 million just sitting there since 2011. Crazy. Like, the person died, they lose their passwords. They might be Satoshi's wallets, because there's a million Bitcoin from the Satoshi wallets back in the day that haven't moved. Is he dead? Is he alive? It's so crazy. Gosh. But that's just like a fun thing to look at, the Bitcoin rich list. If you're bored, just kind of mess around with it. But all right, folks, that does it. Thank you for listening. Really appreciate y'all. And yeah, Saved by the Code is back. Until next time, I bid you farewell on your cryptocurrency journey.